Hello ladies and gents that may be watching the show. Happy Sunday, 4 p.m. to you. You know what time it is. It's DKW time. We've got a rather interesting show for you. If you're a serial or chronic dieter or you like to live a healthy lifestyle, then you definitely watch your food. But the problem is sometimes we don't quite know what is in our food. And when you're trying to go for the healthier options, sometimes it might not be right for you. So today's show, we're asking the question, is fat-free really fat-free? That's right, that's what we're going to be talking about today. And we have a nutritionist who's going to be coming on the show to give us some tips on how we can eat our way to a healthy lifestyle. And we've got a fitness coach who will be showing us how we can shed some pounds. We've also got some more things coming up in the show, so take a look at this video. Sunday. I mean, today's show is fat-free, really fat-free. I'm not alone as usual. I've got my gorgeous co-presenters with me. I love the lovely Verena, hi, Shireen, and Maria. Hi. Ladies, I mean, we're going to go straight into this one because it's a rather weird topic. But, you know, we like to keep on the health and the lifestyle and everything and, you know, dieting. How are you guys, first of all, for your eating habits? Who would like to expose themselves first?
Go, mother, you do it.
Marina's like, don't look at me, don't look at me.
Might as well come clean. I'm struggling with my weight at the minute, and I think it's so unfair because I tend to watch what I eat, you know. I exercise sometimes, but then I am just piling on the weight, you know, not sure why.
Well, you do look good though, in my personal opinion. You're still very attractive, so.
It's true. It's true.
But like, ladies, how are you when it comes to your eating habits? Maria's like, not me. No.
Okay, me. Well, what can I say? I mean, I'm not a big eater. I am not. I eat reasonably well, and what can I say? I've never dieted.
Really? That's a shock.
No.
Good on you, Maria. It's fab.
Shireen, have you dieted?
Oh yeah, I've done it all.
We're like
I can't be bothered with it now, but I have dieted quite often. But now I would say that I'm quite a good eater.
Right.
I mean, this is my mother here. She's always taught us to have our breakfast, have our lunch, have our dinner, and I don't eat late because what I used to do is eat really late, which was really bad for me. And you get up feeling kind of bloated the next morning, like horrible feelings. So I don't have that anymore. But the problem with me is that I don't exercise, and I've got an office job, so I'm just sitting down at the desk all day long. So that's the problem with me. But the minute I start exercising, I notice that I shed the weight really quick.
Wow.
And I don't have to change my eating habits. It's just a matter of exercise.
Gosh, I wish I was like you.
That's my problem.
Yeah. I mean, with most people already probably have heard me mention my story before. I was a size 24. I've always been big all my life. Like,
I had to imagine
I've always been big like most of my life. I remember like being 9 years old and wearing like size 14, 16 clothes. So like, yeah, I was really quite big, like growing up. I was really, really, really big. So I've been like, I think I've always had a thing with my weight from the get-go. So I will put my hands up. I've tried everything under the sun. I've tried Atkins, I've tried slimming clubs, I've tried South Beach diet, grapefruit diet, that diet, this diet. But then you come to the whole fat-free saga now. Like, you know, when you go into the supermarkets and stuff like that, you're picking things off the shelf and it's like, oh, fat-free or low-calorie. Yes. Do you believe in that stuff? Do you think fat-free is really, well, fat-free?
Well, I wouldn't know because I tend to avoid fat-free.
Really?
No, I just feel it's like diet. I can never go on a diet because something happens to me mentally when I hear that word diet. So it's the same with fat-free. I need to have the proper thing to eat. Yeah. I need to taste what I'm eating. I need to be able to enjoy it. And I feel I could be wrong, but I feel when something is fat-free, it's tasteless. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I feel.
I'm exactly, because I used to go shopping and fill my basket with fat-free stuff because when I was trying to lose weight. And it's the same thing as like Ms. Verena was saying, is that what I would do, I'd fill my basket, probably get double the amount of food that I would normally get on fat-free stuff. But whereas I would have a really nice toast with butter, I would have this low fat, but probably have like 10 pieces of toast to compensate because I think it's fat-free. So I'd be eating a much more fat-free stuff. But if you think about it, it's probably the same if I just ate the full thing.
But
I didn't lose any weight.
Don't you think it's an acquired taste? Because I've been on both ends of the spectrum, and now I'm so used. Like I put my hands up. I do go for like the low fat-free, like for example, sweeteners. So I know that there's a lot of controversy, and we can get into that, and hopefully when a nutritionist comes, she can battle it out and help us. But with sweeteners, before, people be like, oh, sweeteners taste weird. You can tell there's a difference in the taste between sweeteners and stuff like that. But then it's the same with white sugar and brown sugar for me as well. So then I adapted and I adopted an acquired taste for sweeteners to the point where now I actually prefer, I know it's really bizarre, sweeteners to the real sugar.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't
really
take
weird.
sugar, but I can't stand sweeteners. So I've had to go for honey. I use honey.
Nice.
Honey's good.
Yeah.
I
honey's
prefer to
nice,
have honey as well. I mean, although I don't have it regularly, I do still like to have a bit of sugar in my tea. But I know quite a lot of people that I know uses honey rather than actually going for the sugar or the sweetener.
Yeah.
Well, let's find out what they think on the street. Is fat-free really fat-free?
Do you think you can believe what you read on the label of products? So is something really fat-free?
Yes, I do believe. I don't think so. There is always some fatty things going inside. It's just to make us our brain more free, to think, it's not fatty so we can buy more.
I don't think it's fat-free. I think it contains like other kind of stuff that, because the whole point of making something fat-free is to make it healthier. Yeah. So I think they substitute it with other kind of stuff that's not that healthy.
I have no reason not to believe them. I don't like to be sceptical, so I hope it's true.
I think it's fat-free, but very often what we learn nowadays is to supplement the food item with sugar. So you might be losing fat, but you're gaining sugar.
When it says it's fat-free, it's just fat-reduced, and the type of fat it is always quite disconcerting, regardless of how much of it is in there.
How many times a week do you think that someone should exercise?
For me, for example, I ran every day, 1 hour, but it shouldn't be like that because I have pain. I'm like elderly lady, I have pain everywhere.
You mean from the exercising?
So maybe 3 times in a week? Yeah.
I agree.
3 times a week?
3 times, definitely. Yeah. I think there probably is, not necessarily in the day, but I would say at least, 2 to 3 times a week to stay healthy.
Do you think there's an ideal size for men and women?
I think the ideal size is whatever they feel healthiest in. Obviously, some people feel more comfortable being bigger than other people do. And I think it's just about having a happy medium between feeling comfortable and also, being somewhat slim. I don't think people should be huge.
No, there's no ideal size, no. But as long as you're on the healthy looking way, not too fat. Because too fat, obviously you're not, it's not healthy, yeah.
Ideal size is XL, my size. So that's it. I don't bother myself, so otherwise you're gonna have headaches. So think when you feel free to, to wear on the best.
I think it's something to do with the body mass index and having a healthy ratio of height to weight, etc.
So ladies, you heard what they were saying on the street. It was rather interesting, their viewpoints and so on. But I've got a little game for you. We're going to play red card, green card, as you know, on DKW, our favourite one. So red if you agree or think yes.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Green if you agree or think yes, or red if you disagree or you think no.
Okay.
Yeah. So my first question to you is, do you think fat-free foods are healthy? What? And Maria, you can't be, you've got to choose one.
I'm in between.
I'd say cream.
I am in between.
No, you've got to choose one, Maria.
Do I really have
yes,
to
you
choose
do.
Go on, Maria,
Okay,
choose
I will
one.
choose
Oh my
red.
gosh, you're all against me, so I want to know your reasons why, and then I'll give my reasons why. Why do you think it's not healthy?
It's like she said on the video, you know, she said, you know, they've taken out the fat.
Yeah.
They must replace the
Well,
fat
this
with
is
something
it.
else.
This is it.
And it's likely that something else has made the stuff unhealthy for you.
But then we hear about all of these things in like the news or in like lifestyle magazines or nutritionists and stuff like that saying the full fat stuff is bad. That's why they had to invent the fat-free stuff or the low fat stuff. So for me, I would trust them. Like, for example, there's a particular brand that we use at home, and it's fat-free, and it's really, really good, and it helps people lower their cholesterol. And I've seen it with my parents, and it's done wonders. So I wouldn't say
The
that
thing
it's
is,
unhealthy.
just because it's fat-free doesn't mean it's healthy. For example, it may lower your fat or lower your cholesterol, but it might be doing something else to your body,
Okay.
which makes it unhealthy. That's the thing, and that's what they play on, isn't it?
And then you look at the older generation, they lived longer than we're likely to ever live. And in their day, for example, my grandparents, in their day, there was nothing like fat-free. Everything was full fat milk,
It's
you know.
so true.
And they lived, you know, my grandmother lived up to 89, 90. My granddad was 95. You know, my grandmother on my father's side, she was 102 when she died.
So beat that.
I really do agree with what Verena just said. I mean, my grandmother, they didn't die yet, but I mean, she lived, 96? She was 96.
On full-blown fatty food.
And she ate full fat stuff.
Yeah, okay. Well, what about this question? Do you try, green card if you do try and buy fat-reduced products, or red card if you don't? So we already know that.
Well,
that's naughty.
She tries.
I'll be honest.
That's so naughty.
Because there is a difference between fat-free and fat-reduced.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right.
I've learned something here.
Okay, next question then, before we go to the break. Do you think there's a perfect size for a man or a woman? Yes, which is green card, or no, which is red card? Oh, okay, so
I'm a bit like Maria was.
I know.
you've got to pick one.
She won't let me put both up, so I have to put one, and I go for the red.
So you don't think, Shireen, you do think?
Yes.
Marina, you have to pick. You do? Okay, well, Maria, quickly before we go to the break, why don't you think?
I'm not really sure, but I just don't think there is. I just don't think there is, because I mean, I've tried. Thank you. See? I mean, I've always tried my best to be the perfect size, but I can't.
But see, I'm gonna join you on this one. The reason why I say there isn't a perfect size is because everybody's body is unique and it's individual, and I think it's really difficult to pinhole or put people into certain boxes or categories of how they should weigh or how they should look. For example, I remember I was looking at the body mass index, and I'm not going to go into it and all of that stuff because I'm not a professional. But in my personal opinion, like seeing family members that are very healthy, they can run, they have a healthy muscle mass and everything. When they check their body mass index, it says that they're overweight, but when they go to the GP, their vitals are spot on. So for me, I just find like there isn't a perfect size. I think you should just attain the most amount of health that you can get.
Very true.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I think there is a perfect size for you.
Yeah.
I think that's where it is. I don't think there's a perfect size in general, because sure, you can't cut out a template for a woman and say, oh, that's the size for everyone. But for example, I have lost weight, I've gained, I've lost weight. I know what the perfect size is for me because I've been there, so I know what it is for me. I know, what is the perfect size for will look good on me. Well, where you wear your clothes and you thought, oh, I look fab in this. There's a perfect size, and I think there's a perfect size for everyone. I don't think generally that being the bigger person is that perfect size.
Well, this is what we're going to be discussing after the break. We're going to have a nutritionist who's going to be giving us the lowdown. Is fat-free really fat-free? You don't want to miss this. Stay tuned.
Hi, the Chrissy B Show airs live on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, coming to your homes with entertainment, life issues as well as hard-hitting topics, coupled with friendly and practical advice. I love to look at the happier side of life and believe a person can achieve amazing things when they put their mind to it. The Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life.
Forgiving the person who betrayed you can be tough, and it can almost always leave a scar. A scar that remains from an abusive past can affect your future in so many ways. There are various forms of abuse, the seen and the unseen. We understand your pain because we have been through it ourselves. If you or someone you know is a victim of any form of abuse, help is available. Rehab, removing all hurt and abuse. We won't pretend it never happened, but our aim is to help you heal the wounds of the past so that you can build a happy future. We'll listen, we'll advise, we'll be your shoulder to cry on. It's free, confidential, and we're just a phone call away. For more information, call 0207 686 6000 or visit our website uckg.org/rehab.
And welcome to DKW. If you've just tuned in, we're talking on today's show whether or not fat-free is really fat-free, and we've got the lovely Ellie Holly with us. Hi Ellie.
Hi.
How are you?
Very good, thank you.
We've been having a little debate before we went to the break. Is fat-free really fat-free and so on, and how we can lose weight, and should we be buying such products and so on? But before we delve into that, we want to find out a little bit more about you. You're a nutritionist, aren't you?
Yes.
So how did you get into nutrition?
Well, as a child, I had really bad eczema, and it was so severe on my hands and face that I was hospitalised, and they took photos of my hands for medical journals, and orthodox medicine just didn't turn it around. And in the end, my mum took me to see a nutritionist and a medical herbalist, and it was herbal medicine and dietary changes that really sorted my skin out. And then ever since then, I've been interested in nutrition, and it just seemed a natural path.
I was going to say, you look absolutely fabulous. I would have never thought that you suffered with eczema or anything like that.
Yes.
So it was through that particular health problem that got you interested into nutrition and so on. And what's been your experience so far being a nutritionist?
Well, it's just a brilliant job because you're meeting lots of different people and helping women with such a wide range of different problems. And I combine nutrition with herbal medicine. So people tend to come and see me a lot with weight loss problems, but also with all sorts of problems like digestive problems, hormonal imbalance, skin problems, and it's just very satisfying.
Nice. So the big question that we've all got, is fat-free really fat-free? Give us the lowdown.
Well, there are lots of foods that are naturally virtually fat-free. All your plant-based foods, all your fruit, vegetable, whole grains, beans and pulses are pretty much fat-free. But if you're talking about the products that you find in the supermarket that are supposedly, sort of super tasty products that are fat-free, they're often just full of hidden sugars.
Right. Okay, so it's been debunked. Marina's nodding at me like, yeah, see, I told you so.
Yes.
So then, what can you do? Because if you are trying to get on a healthy diet, or you're trying to lose the weight, or you're trying to reduce your fat and cholesterol, then what do you eat if you want the super tasty foods, that is?
If you want the super tasty foods, I would just try to eat lots of natural foods. Try and make your snacks fruit. Try and balance out your
plate at mealtime so that literally half of your plate is vegetables, not so much the starchy vegetables, but either a rainbow coloured salad or lots of dark green leafy vegetables. Instead of just having one portion of vegetables at a meal, have 2 or 3, and ideally doing your own cooking. But if you can't and you are having ready meals, then top them up even with things like frozen veg. Have got fantastic nutrient content, and it will mean then you're eating less of the processed foods that aren't so good for you. Yeah, I think being organised really helps. I think when people get caught out, that's when they reach for the naughty stuff.
Yeah, it's true. I know, I've been guilty of it a couple of times. Ladies, do you have any questions? Because I feel like I'm hogging nearly on talking
Yeah,
to myself.
I need to ask this. You know, all the women, such as myself, you know, at the moment I'm struggling with my weight. I was always a size 10, then I went up to a size 12. But then I'm going through the menopause at the minute, and my weight is just piling on, and I haven't changed my eating habits. So I'm really frustrated, and I eat pretty healthy as well. Help.
That sounds really hard. Yes. I think it's harder that as you get older, you need less calories because your metabolism slows down, and particularly around the time of the menopause. The more lean muscle that you've got, the more calories you can eat. So if you can do a bit more exercise, just sitting still, if you're muscular, burns up calories.
Wow.
Because maintaining muscle takes energy, whereas someone who doesn't do a lot of exercise, when they sit still, they're not really burning any calories at all. So doing exercise will help, and then possibly just making lots of small changes. So maybe portion size, and so many. I don't know what your plates are like, but lots and lots of people, their plates are really big these days. They're not like the plates we had 20 years ago, and it's just having slightly smaller portions and balancing out, having more protein, more lean protein, because that will fill you up and that's not going to make you put on weight. So having a big bit of fish, having some eggs, having some lean meat or beans and pulses, and then having lots of vegetables with it, and really trying to keep the starchy carbohydrates, the potatoes, the pasta, the bread to an absolute minimum.
Wow, yeah. Good. That's a nice tip. Yeah, I'm thinking, I might do that tonight when I have my Sunday dinner. But you know, one question I did want to ask as well is, maybe there might be someone out there, or even myself, where you're not quite educated when it comes to things like when you're saying proteins and the carbs and the leafy veg. So could you break that down for us? What exactly would you consider those things to be?
Okay, so your protein foods are basically fish, eggs, beans and pulses, and lean meat. So rather than meat products, not things like sausages and burgers and bacon, but pieces of meat, or if you're buying minced meat, making sure that it's the low fat versions, and cutting the visible fat off meat. Those kind of foods are not going to make you gain weight. They're going to fill you up. They're going to help you to build a healthy body, because your body's being rebuilt all the time. So when you eat protein and when you eat healthy fats, they're not available as calories in their entirety, because first and foremost they're used to make your skin, to make your bones, to build your muscles, to make your hormones, and it's only after all those jobs are done, what's left over is then available as calories. So that's why it's fine to eat a bit more protein, particularly if you're trying to lose weight. Have a bit more protein, healthy proteins, have lots of fruit and vegetables. Frozen veg are fine. You know, they're frozen so quickly after picking, they've often got more nutrients than fresh vegetables.
Really?
You know,
okay. So when you say like lean meat, so taking off the skin then, per se?
Yeah, so taking the skin off chicken and poultry, cutting any visible fat off lamb or steak. And buying low-fat minced meat.
I have a question.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you know, we hear a lot about 5 a day. I really do try my best. What would you say is necessary for us to actually have the 5 a day?
5 a day. Well, really, you should be aiming for 7 or 8 a day.
7 or 8?
Yeah.
Really? All right. And then you're struggling with the 5.
Right, that's telling me.
The UK guidelines are really modest compared to other countries.
Really?
Yes, yeah. So 3 pieces of fruit. So by a portion of fruit, we're talking if it's something small like plums, a couple of plums, or a big apple, or a banana, or a bowl of berries, 3 bits of fruit. And then if you say you're having lunch and dinner, if you're making half your plate at lunchtime and half your plate at dinner time vegetables, that's definitely going to be 2 or 3 portions. So you should be able to hit those targets relatively easily. Yeah, and if you're in a rush and you're buying a ready meal because you haven't got time and you're tired and you're hungry, just put some frozen veg on the side, or just eat things that are really simple. You know, you can come home and you can have boiled eggs and some tomatoes and cucumber. You don't necessarily have to have a, you know, a big meal.
Do you know, I've got a question written down here because I just had to ask this, seeing as you was going to be on the show. How much salt and sugar should we be eating? Because the thing is, I have, like, my mum, she's a health freak at the moment, and she's really trying to get my dad to be healthy, and she's always on at me about sugar content and salt content. So with the sugar, as I was putting my hand up during the show, I've now got an acquired taste for sweeteners. And she's like always telling me off, like, sweeteners are evil, they're horrible, and blah, 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 blah. So she's trying to get me to get my sugar down, but also she also talks about the salt. So could you educate us on sugar and salt and how much we should be eating, or what would you recommend?
Okay, we'll start with the sugar. So with sugar, apart from the sugar naturally in fresh fruit, you ought to eat as little as you possibly can.
Really? Basically. Even like the white and brown molasses sugar and all of that kind of stuff?
Sugar is just... get it out of your head that brown sugar is better than white sugar, or honey is better than white sugar. It's all sugar, pretty much.
Did you say honey?
The benefits, you know, it's really marginal. So just sugar is sugar, and it should be a treat, and you should just have it very occasionally and keep your sugar intake low. If you're looking at sweeteners, xylitol is probably the healthiest sweetener because it's made from, I think it's the bark of the birch tree, but it's naturally very high in minerals, and it's much better for your health. It's quite good for your teeth, and you can use that in quite a lot of baking, and you can use that on foods, and that's a lot better than things like saccharin.
Yeah.
So are there any product that we should really be keeping away from in the supermarket? What do you think?
I think look at the, I didn't answer your question about
salt.
So the government recommended recommendation is a maximum of 6 grams of salt a day.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. That's a maximum. So you should really be aiming for less than that. The average UK person is having 8.1 grams a day.
Ooh.
But it's not that we're adding lots of salt at the table. It's that people are getting it in ready meals. They're getting it in snacks, crisps, even cakes and biscuits have got salt in them. So I think if you're cutting back on your processed food, your salt intake's naturally going to come down.
Right.
Stock cubes are very salty, so using stock cubes cautiously, not often, is better. And if you're using salt at home, get good quality salt, get sea salt or rock salt, so that you're going to get the trace minerals that come naturally with those products, not your cheap sodium chloride table salt.
Right, gosh. Well, I didn't know that. Sorry, Maria.
Well, can I quickly ask this? You know, you mentioned honey. Is honey on the same par as sugar, or because I thought honey was healthier?
It's such a marginal difference. I think really you've got to, particularly if you're trying to lose weight, just see honey as sugar.
Oh no! That's the honey gone now. I can't use it. You can't use it.
So Maria, you had a question before I interrupted. Go on.
Well, yeah. Going back to that question, are there any products that you think that we should avoid at the supermarket?
I think, well, 2 things. I think if you look at the ingredients and you don't recognise the ingredients as things that you would find in your kitchen, don't eat them.
Right.
So if there's things that you think, you know, if it says flour, butter, you know, and you can recognise it, it's a real food because it's something you can make at home. If it's got maltodextrin, strange gums and inulin and things that you wouldn't find, then I would avoid it. I think one of the unhealthiest things in the supermarket is all cooked products containing vegetable oil, because vegetable oil is very, very delicate, and when you heat it, you change it structurally and it becomes really bad for you, and it does all the negative things that you associate with fat, like block up your blood vessels, lead to heart disease, weight gain, cholesterol and so on. So any cakes or biscuits made with vegetable oils, but also things like quiches, pies, sausage rolls. Vegetable oils are so delicate. If you really want to eat some biscuits or you want to buy a cake, get one that's either made with butter or with palm oil, because those fats, and even though they're naturally saturated, they're much more stable and they're not so easily damaged through the cooking process. And obviously you shouldn't eat loads of butter, but it's better to have a bit of butter than it is to bake with vegetable oil.
Wow.
So,
and that's the thing, red velvet, For example, one of my favourite cakes, that's got a whole bunch of like vegetable oil in it. It's got batches and batches of vegetable oil.
And like carrot cake.
Yeah, I'm really shocked now.
I always use vegetable oil. I've always used vegetable oil.
I've never used it.
So my final question before we do go to break. If there is someone out there who's trying to lose weight steadily, what would be your top 3 tips for them?
Top 3 tips. Avoid alcohol. There's loads of calories there. Look at your portion sizes. Make half your plates vegetables, and maybe just be organised. Try not to get caught short. And if you do get caught short, hungry out, and you haven't got things with you, don't go for chocolates and crisps. It's better to buy a low-calorie sandwich. Rather than spending 50p on a chocolate bar, just think, okay, I'm genuinely hungry. I'll actually have something that's more like a mini meal.
Yeah. Brilliant stuff, Ellie. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
I've learnt loads. I'm sure you have, ladies, as well. It's changed my way of looking at food. Ladies and gents out there, don't leave. We still got another half an hour with you, and we've got a fitness coach after the break who's going to be showing us how we can shed some pounds. So stay tuned.
Click on to uckg.org for all the latest happenings at the UCKG Help Centre. It's dynamic, interesting and full of content that will add to your daily life. Keep up to date with all the latest info and events up and down the country at a UCKG closest to you. There's something for everyone and you're invited. Check out what we've done previously and update your calendar with what's coming up next. Ladies, especially for you, presenters and authors Nanda Becerra, Esther Becerra, Chris Cardoso and Viviane Freitas share with you advice on becoming a better woman. Read their top tips on health, beauty, love and well-being, all aimed at helping you become the woman you were created to be. And if you're looking for food for the soul and personal development, then check out messages from world-renowned spiritual leader Bishop Macedo, as well as character-building blogs from Bishops Renato and Celso Jr. It's spiritual intelligence for your life. And for all you young guys and girls, why not check out our section dedicated to youth? Real talk, real advice, and a whole lot of fun. Catch cool clips of their shows and listen to the catchiest VYG record track. Want some inspiration? Watch our live transformational videos, recent programs, plus all the promos and coverage of some of our best shows and events.
This is finding answers, and we are here.
Finding us is easy. Wherever you are in the UK, find the UCKG nearest to you at a click of a button. uckg.org. All you need at your fingertips.
So, maybe you're thinking about making some big changes or setting some ambitious goals for yourself. Maybe you want to lose 20 pounds or read through the Bible. Maybe you want to run a marathon or repair a broken relationship. Whatever your big goal is, the temptation is to expect to go straight from here to here, or from here to here. The reality is, there are a lot of small steps between big decisions and big results. Challenges and obstacles await. At some point, you might even want to quit. But stand firm. Don't be disappointed with slow progress. Don't be overwhelmed by the destination. Rather, focus on what you can do today. Skip dessert. Read a chapter. Go for a run. Make a phone call. The more difficult the journey, the more rewarding the destination. And it can all start today with just one small step.
Forgiving the person who betrayed you can be tough, and it can almost always leave a scar. The scar that remains from an abusive past can affect your future in so many ways. There are various forms of abuse, the seen and the unseen. We understand your pain because we have been through it ourselves. If you or someone you know is a victim of any form of abuse, help is available. Rahab. Removing all hurt and abuse. We won't pretend it never happened, but our aim is to help you heal the wounds of the past so that you can build a happy future. We'll listen, we'll advise, we'll be your shoulder to cry on. It's free, confidential, and we're just a phone call away. For more information, call 0207 686 6000 or visit our website uckg.org/Rahab.
Hi, the Chrissy B Show airs live on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, coming to your homes with entertainment, life issues as well as hard-hitting topics, coupled with friendly and practical advice. I love to look at the happier side of life and believe a person can achieve amazing things when they put their mind to it. The Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life.
We've been having a little bit of a giggle during the break with all the wonderful news that Ellie was giving us and the recommendations. But ladies, we've got a bit more red card, green card for you guys. Because, you know, the things that Ellie was saying was quite profound, and it's actually changed the way I was looking at food. Like she mentioned more proteins and so on. So I'm going to ask you, green card if you do, red card if you don't. So truth be told, ladies, did you know about cutting off all the fat from your actual meats and proteins? Okay. Okay, red card, green card if you actually do it. Really? Oh my gosh, so then I'm the only bad person now. For me, I just feel like it tastes better with the fat and
the skin.
And the skin. It's like people that go to things like, I don't know, KFC and stuff like that, and they take the skin off. I just don't understand why you bother to go.
I don't understand because actually I take off the skin of everything because that's how I was raised. I can't stand to see chicken with skin on it. I just can't.
Well,
and fat. I just can't. I have to. I will take off. I won't eat it, and I have to take it off. But with KFC, is the only exception.
Wow, I need to change. I need to get some more eating habits like that. But okay, so then I've got a rather personal one for you. Green card if you have, red card if you haven't. Have you ever tried to lose weight in a way that you would have considered not healthy? So green card if you have, red card if you haven't, and then if you can give us a little bit of the DL as to what you did. So you haven't.
I think I have, yes.
And you have, okay. Yes. So Shireen, since you're the only green card right now, would you like to expose yourself?
Yeah. When I was in secondary school, I did do this bread and water fast.
Bread and water fast?
Yes, it was like bread and water fast, but that was the diet.
Like, all you ate was bread and water?
Yeah.
Was you not constipated ever?
I was seriously constipated.
I would assume that would, like, you know.
No, it was
cease your
terrible.
bowels.
It was awful. It was really. But you know, when I did it, I truly believed it was a great thing to do, and I could just see myself like the thinner version of me, and that's what kept me doing it. But by the next day, I just couldn't do it again. It lasted 24 hours.
24 hours.
Yeah, only 24 hours. It was awful. And of course, it was white bread as well, which I know we didn't touch on that, but I know that white bread is generally not good for you.
Yeah.
So and the next day I was so bloated. It was awful.
Well, you know, speaking of breads, something that allegedly I had heard is when you go to the shops to buy your breads, especially the brown breads, not all brown breads are actually good for you. Apparently they dye the breads, can you believe it or not, the cheaper ones, they dye it with molasses.
Yeah. But you should never go for brown bread. It should be wholemeal.
There you go.
But that's another revelation. That's the thing. 'Cause you think, oh, brown, so it must be good.
No.
You know?
Yeah. Wholemeal bread.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, ladies, well, this one you can't do the red card or green card with, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What would be your ideal size if you could get down to it?
Oh, 12.
Easy peasy, I'll tell you.
So 12 for you.
I think, 12 as well.
12. Well, I am a 12.
Oh, okay. So what would be your ideal?
I am a 12, but not. But I still have problems. You see, I do, because I have small waist, and as you can see here, it's a bit larger. But so I do have this problem. Although I'm a 12,
but I'm surprised you're 12 because you look more like a 14.
Well, this is it.
No.
She's right.
No, in a good way. She does look like she's a 14.
Absolutely. No, you're right. But if I take size 14 now, the skirt will actually turn round.
Because your waist is small. Your waist is small.
That's dependent on where you shop as well, isn't it? The sizes, they change, they differ.
But you know, both of you said 12. Why? Why would you want to be a size 12?
For me, it's the comfortable size. You know, I was 12 for half my life.
Wow. Okay.
You know, and it's only in the later years then I moved up to a 14, which I was happy with. You know, and now I'm not gonna actually say what my size is now. You know, it's just I'm still in denial, trying to get back to 12.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a
all
struggle. The clothes in your wardrobe are size 12, and that's what you're struggling to go back to.
But I mean, the thing is, like you, Verena, I've always been a 12, and I was always happy with the 12. But I'm going to be quite honest with you. I went to see my GP a few weeks ago, and he did say to me I'm overweight. So
really? This is the thing with the whole BMI and body index and stuff like that, and the thing with the boxes, like I explained before. Do you think that there's too much emphasis on these things and it has a psychological trip on people, so it makes them think that maybe they're not okay? Or do you think that these things are relatively safe and we should be sticking by them 110%?
Do you want me to be honest with you? I think it's a good thing, because I think it gives us something to aim for, or else we'd just be a nation that would just be out of control otherwise. I know there are some people that take it too far, but you know, everything in life, you have to have balance and you've got to see what's good for you. But if we didn't have these kind of BMI, and then, you know, nothing's perfect. There's always going to be some flaws in everything you do. But it's a good standard. I think it gives you something to aim to. Like maybe because of your height, that's probably why your doctor said, oh, you're overweight. But maybe, for example, if he spoke to me, he probably would say, oh yes, you're overweight, but only by this and that. You know, it depends on your height, but they take to a lot of other factors. They consider a lot of things before they tell you that you're overweight or underweight. I think it's a good thing.
I think for me, he was being honest, because I was feeling you know, a little bit heavy. You know, I may be a size 12, but I can feel the difference. And you know, when I went and he was being really honest with me, and I really did appreciate that. So it actually given me something to work on now, because I know I do have to. I don't know where I'm the size 12. I mean, obviously only around my waist, because everywhere else I know that I've put on the weight. So it's something. Yeah, Shireen, you're right. It's something now that I have to work on. I know I have to work on.
I thought did you want to?
No, that's
So then, back to red card, green card, with the last question. Have you, green card if you have, actually red card if you haven't, have you ever found the perfect diet or food lifestyle and stuck to it?
Oh no.
It's a difficult one. You know, can I just say, Jen, for me personally, diet, like I said earlier on, is just not my thing. You know, I get this mental blockage when I hear the word diet. The shutter comes down, and you know. But eating healthy, yes. But diet, no. So yeah.
So then, for you, what would you consider a healthy lifestyle?
Healthy lifestyle is eating healthy, keeping your alcohol down to, if you must have alcohol, keeping it down to a minimum, exercising, you know, that's part of a healthy lifestyle. So no smoking, you know, and if you are smoking, quit smoking, try to, because I know it's difficult for some people, but yeah.
Yeah, I think she's right. I also think that you need to have those, you have to be realistic. Like, you need to have those days where you do have, you know, the foods that you love. Like, for example, our Caribbean foods are very starchy, but they're our food. They're like, you know, if you can't live without. So you're going to have the whole week being healthy. To be honest, if you had Caribbean food every day, it wouldn't be good for you, but at least once a week. So you incorporate a day where you do have your kind of treats, you know, like, I'm sure like in the African foods as well, very, you need to have them, because then you don't feel happy. That's why you fall off the bandwagon of diets, because you try to cut them out, and then you feel, you know, you're depriving yourself. But I think if you have the whole week you go very healthy, like my mum was saying, and then at least have that day, maybe Saturday or Sunday, where you eat the food that you really enjoy, but keep the exercise going, because that's why I was kind of like 2 cars, because I did find a good way of, and that was this way that I'm explaining now. But what I used to do, I used to eat really, really healthy during the week, have my day off, where I'd eat the food I'd want to eat, whether it's the West Indian or a pizza or chips or something, and then I would always have at least half an hour of exercise every day, at least. Sometimes I'd do an hour or even more. And that exercise was fun. It was like Zumba, and I used to love it. But yeah, I didn't stick to it. But I always had that in my mind. If I just get back on that Zumba, you know, I'll be happy. Do you know what I mean? So I think I found it. I was very happy in that time. I was losing weight and I was enjoying my lifestyle. I didn't feel like it wasn't a diet. It was literally just healthy eating and incorporating exercise.
It is true, because I have a friend who she's on a diet, an indefinite diet, you know. And every lunchtime she has a healthy lunch, and then she's miserable every she's miserable because she's not eating what she wants to eat, you know. So like Shireen said, if you, for example, what I do during the week, I tend to eat really healthy. Weekends, I just forget about healthy eating and I just eat with the family. You know, that's what I do. So I am happy because I know during the week I can be miserable. Weekend, I'm going to be happy.
You've got something to look forward to.
Exactly. Well, Jennifer, I have never dieted.
Well, we're going to find out.
I would say no.
But we're going to find out. I haven't forgotten you. We're going to find out with you after this break, because we need to go to a break. And we'll be giving you some more tips on whether fat-free is really fat-free.
So, maybe you're thinking about making some big changes or setting some ambitious goals for yourself. Maybe you want to lose 20 pounds or read through the Bible. Maybe you want to run a marathon or repair a broken relationship. Whatever your big goal is, the temptation is to expect to go straight from here to here, or from here to here. The reality is, there are a lot of small steps between big decisions and big results. Challenges and obstacles await. At some point, you might even want to quit. But stand firm. Don't be disappointed with slow progress. Don't be overwhelmed by the destination. Rather, focus on what you can do today. Skip dessert. Read a chapter. Go for a run. Make a phone call. The more difficult the journey, the more rewarding the destination. And it can all start today with just one small step.
Very good evening to you. We are live. This is your Finding Answers program.
I started running away from home at a very young age.
Guns, knives, affiliated with gangs.
Share. Open your heart. Talk to someone.
If you ask the question, can God help me?
the answer will always be yes.
Come on, spin me around now, I don't wanna go home. 'Cause when you hold me like this, you know my heart skips a beat. I know I should, but I can't leave it alone. And when you hold me like this, that's when my heart skips a beat. You gotta love this, man.
So on today's DKW show, we've been asking the question, is fat-free really fat-free? And unfortunately, we were supposed to have our fitness coach on, but they haven't arrived as of yet. So we're going to go straight into this one. Ladies, look at this. It says that in Hollywood, a good percentage of people were aspiring to be size 0. And that's that's US size 0, which is the UK size 6. So as a result of that, there was a high increase of hiring for nutritionists and personal trainers. Now, are any of you members of a gym, and what do you think about this whole ideal body size? Do you think that it's too much to spend over 3 hours in the gym to compensate for a rather bad diet? What do you think?
3 hours in the gym. I've got a treadmill at home. I can only be on there for 5 minutes.
I've got time. I just think, what kind of life is that?
3 hours.
No.
3 hours to attain a US size 0.
No.
I don't even personally, this is me, if your body shape and your frame is built to be that size, that's one thing. But personally, I don't think size 0 is particularly attractive.
It wouldn't be on me, that's for sure. That's the thing. Because of my shape, I just tried to think, oh, size 6, I think I would look so weird.
Yeah.
Well, it's not... Size 6, that's really not tiny. A woman's size, that's a child size, to be honest.
It can be.
It depends, obviously, like
on your frame, right?
On your frame,
True. I have been a size 6.
Really?
Yes.
How?
But I was actually really ill.
Okay.
Oh, well, that's
believe me. So what I would say is I would never ever want to be a size 6 because that looks really, you look really frail.
It depends. It just depends on your.
So would you say 3 hours in the gym is a bit excessive?
Yeah,
I mean, if you obviously if you're a personal trainer or that is your actual profession, that's one thing. But I'm talking for the average woman out there who wants to get into that
every day.
Yeah, every day, 3 hours, to compensate for the type of diet that they would like to have. So, for example, they want to be out having, the chips and the stuff and the pizza and the processed foods and stuff like that. So to compensate, obviously you need to burn those calories. If you're eating 3,000, 4,000 calories a day, you're going to have to burn off pretty much.
This is why we have a lot of skinny people who are very unhealthy. They think that because they're skinny, they're healthy. But if you're still, bloating your body full of junk and just thinking you can exercise it off, you're still making yourself sick. That's the thing that people don't realise. You might be thin, but inside there's all kind of dramas happening.
And there's something psychologically wrong as well, because then there's no balance. You're wanting to eat everything, all the things that are not good for you, but then you think, well, I'll just burn it off, So there's something psychologically wrong with that person wanting to live that way.
Yeah. I mean, I've got another thing here. It says the FDA, I think this is more a US-based thing, but the FDA allows food with 0.5 grams trans fat or less to claim that it's 0 grams trans fat. So that's a little bit of a lie. So technically speaking, fat-free really isn't fat-free. There you have it.
There you go.
So when you read the label on it, it says 0 grams of fat, but actually it has 0.5% grams of fat in it. And if you happen to eat several servings of these fewer in fat, trans fat foods during the day, you can actually end up building up a measurable amount of actual trans fat in your body, which could lead to the bad cholesterol, which is LDL. So people don't be fooled. And when you're looking for things like hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated oil listed in the packaging, then you better stay away from it. So there you go. Yeah. The producers have just let me know about that. So fat-free really isn't fat-free. But ladies, seeing as we're winding up the show, you know, we've got the final, 2.5 minutes now. What would be your advice from everything that you've heard today for the viewers out there concerning diet? Because most women, you know, it's not just, let's be honest, it's not just about being healthy. It's also about looking good and having longevity. You want to be energized for your kids, for your family, your husband, partner, whoever. You want to have a good overall lifestyle. So what would be your tips on eating healthy?
Jennifer, I was listening to what you said earlier about having, you know, balance. And for me, you know, in everything, there has to be balance. You know, your exercise, the food that you eat, everything that we do, everything has to have balance. If we don't have this balance, I mean, like, you know, I was really listening to what you said, and I have to really agree that with everything, it has to be balanced. What is the point? You know, Shireen was saying, being skinny, but looking frail. And you see so many people out there, you see women out there really, you know, really skinny, really, probably the size that they want to be, but not looking healthy. But for me, that's not diet. That's really, you know, destroying yourself.
I think that's basically it, you know, Jen. If I was going to add on anything, it's have that balance and discipline, and don't be a secret eater. Don't deceive yourself. Yes. You know, don't, in front of everyone, it's like you never eat, and no one understands why you're so, you know, much bigger, because it's like she never eats anything. But, you know,
she's overweight.
She's overweight.
I used to be one of them.
You pick out, you pick out, but then in front of everyone else, you just when you're just picking at things, don't do that to yourself. Don't deceive yourself. Just be you. Be open. You know, and take it step by step. You're not going to lose weight overnight. It's a process, and it's okay.
Yeah. And you know what? Just to conclude on that, as a final note, I would also like to say, look at the way that you're looking at your body. It's not just about what you eat, how you eat, and what you're exercising. Why are you doing it? If you're doing it because you genuinely want to have a good health lifestyle and you want longevity, that's going to see you through that lifestyle because it's for life. But if you're doing it as a temporary solution or a quick fix, then sooner or later you're going to be back to square ones, and you could have even worse repercussions than before. See your body as a vessel or a temple or a lovely building or structure as you see it, and invest in it. Give it the best, because you've only got one body and you're the one that has to live in it. So that would be my final tip. It's been a fab show, ladies. I've really enjoyed it, and I want to say to you guys out there as well, if you have any questions, please send your comments to comments at dkw.me, and we'll be more than happy to answer. We've had a fab show, ladies. I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. Take care and have a great Sunday. Bye-bye.
Bye.